So, to start day 3, we are addressing one of the most critical challenges for any founder, maintaining creativity and clarity while managing the relentless demands of building a business. Have you ever pushed past exhaustion, like right now? how, how do you know you unlock new ideas when mental fatigue threatens to take over? Our opening session, Overcoming the Creativity Blocks and Overexhaustion as Founders, will explore it all. So please help me welcome our incredible speakers for today. Our moderator is Erica Hansen. She's the CEO and founder of Wisdom Collective LLC, as well as our panelists. Samia, perfect. CEO and founder of the Garden Recipe and the Garden Pooch, and Karin Vardaman. Sorry, you guys. I can't hear that far. I'm just like I'm trying to read their lips. Just like cool. Executive director and founder of Working Circle, and then Radhika Dazuri, founder and transformation architect of Alaska Solutions, and Dr. Trina Wilson, owner and CEO of Life Counseling and Assessment Center. Please welcome to the stage.
To some of the fun things. So let's just start with we're going to go down the line and then we'll come back up the line. Huh? So the first one's about a leadership shift. So, how does your relationship with creativity change as you move from building the product to leading the company?
Well, thanks for having me here. I'm the founder of a wonderful purpose driven business, The Garden Recipe, that focuses on teaching people about cancer prevention and healing. And so when I launched this, it was not just a solely professional decision. It came from my own journey of healing my cancer. And prior to me having cancer, I had worked in cancer research in top institutes, but I didn't like the conventional side of chemo and radiation and people paying from their heart and soul and then still not making it. And then their families left to pay after the treatments. So I just didn't align with it anymore and I quit the job. And after 1 year from that, I had cancer, ovarian cancer. So then it was like clear I don't want to go on the conventional side. I want to heal my body naturally, holistically through plant-based diet and the wisdom that I have from India and my grandparents. I just did a surgery, but I came back and I flat out refused any drugs, chemo, radiation. I said no. And once I saw the power of food and the spices and the knowledge that my wonderful grandma had given to me in childhood, and going back to plant based and high vibration diet, and managing my stress, sleep, my body came into balance because doctors had told me I would not make it for 5 years. I need chemo, I need to have drugs, and I won't have my periods and things like that. My body came in balance 2 months. Within 2 months, I had my periods. And thanks to God, it's been 12 years. It's going to be 12 years in May that I'm going to be cancer free. And it feels great. So I thought at the time, we go back into to 12 years, I need to teach people this something. There's something the Americans need to learn because they work so hard and they are being deprived of the truth that is so easy to heal. And we are being suppressed too much. So this is how my business launched. Now that is as a leader or founder, the passionate side, the one that you want to give, give, give. So the question is, how did it evolve as leadership over time? Because in the beginning, we are so passionate of helping others. And if you're from your childhood, you're a giver, you're caring, you're that child who is not a taker. You want to give to others, you just give freely. So we launched the business and we forget that this is a business. And I was like, oh, I'll give you free coaching, free advice. Come on over this. And then I realized it's making me go nowhere because I'm not running my business as a business. I'm running it as a free charity. Even charities ask for money and I'm not asking it and I'm healing people, without drugs and chemo. So I should be getting paid just like doctors do, if not more, because I am healing them for permanent healing. So, as a leader, I had to evolve and say this giving attitude can go only as far as I want to provide free content, high quality articles, high quality recipes that heal, and a lot of support on stress management. And newsletter goes out, YouTube videos go out. Okay, that is great. But where do I have high end coaching packages so I am supported also in this journey? And so the business can sustain itself in the long run for all to benefit who come there. It's not the thought that everything should be charged, but it's not a thought that everything should be free. So I had to evolve and recognize that, because I always want people to come on my website and leave with really good, soulful information to heal their mind, body, and soul. So there's still a lot of free stuff there, right? Free, valid resources, and newsletter goes out for free. But if you want more, this is a charge. So I had to learn that balance within myself and create that awareness. This is a dysfunctional pattern. As a leader, I cannot lead. Sooner or later, I'm going to collapse and the business is going to collapse. It's going to benefit nobody.
I always tell my nonprofits does not mean no profit.
I love that line. I love that line. Yeah. So this is how I evolved. So let me, you can continue.
Dr. Trina?
I think I'm still evolving, right? I don't think that I've arrived yet in that space because I just I'm not there. Let me just say I'm not there. And I know a lot of people in the room are there, and I'm not there. I am now really just coming to recognize all of the capabilities that I have, unfortunately. I'm kind of late in the game. So now we are putting together an entrepreneurship program that just deals with straight entrepreneurship and strategy. Didn't realize that I had been doing strategy the whole time. Just did not realize that I was providing that information until I met with a young lady out of New York, and she told me about this grant. Applied for the grant, won the grant, and she said, "You are an amazing strategist." And I said, "Really? Are you? I mean, are you serious?" And now that is evolving, right? So I hear you talking about the packages and the programming and all of the things. So people are helping me put that together right now. So they're helping me with the funneling process. I'm also an author. I have several books that I've written, several journals to kind of help reset people, right? To kind of help them get back on track and help them decrease their level of stress, help them with their affirmations of who they are so they can start recognizing who they are as people, but definitely as an entrepreneur. You kind of like have to do a different shift. So I am now monetizing that skill as well, where I have not always been able to do that because I didn't recognize it as being a profitable skill.
Yeah, I found that you start out with one thought of a product,
Right.
and then you end up pivoting at some point in time, and you're like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I always say to people, I don't even know how I arrived here. Like I woke up one morning and I was here. Like I don't know how this happened, but I'm here.
Excellent. So interesting to listen. I've learned so much during this conference. My name is Karin Vardaman, and my organization is a very small nonprofit called Working Circle. And we are focused on ensuring that wolves, livestock, and people can successfully share the landscape and thrive. Because what sparked me in this whole journey in wolf conservation, I came in as a wolf advocate. Was that 30 years after the reintroduction of wolves into Yellowstone, they were having the same conversations, the same conflicts. The ranchers were evil, and wolves were killing. Or the wolves were evil, and it was this constant wolf wars battle. And I thought, here we are, 30 years later, and we're still having the same conversation about this, and we're not getting any closer to creating positive coexistence. So what were we missing? What did we not see? Why is this not working? And so that became my personal mission to answer the question of why, and then look at strategies to help meet that. And I never planned to have a nonprofit or to be in this position, but found early success through digging deeper and finding some unique solutions. So it's been kind of an interesting journey. I can't say that I'm an expert in anything, so I'm just going to talk from my own personal experience. And, at the beginning, at first starting all this, it was so exciting. I mean, the creativity just flowed. Like, let's find the answer. You're building, you're discovering, you're taking risks, you're creating something new and different that nobody's ever done. And so, of course, that lends to such creativity. And then you're there, and then you've got the day-to-day business, the operations, the finances, the board, and all the things. And it just kind of hit me because I'm more of the visionary creator than the day-to-day, but I had a responsibility, and it kind of dimmed that creativity for a while. But then I realized that creativity just looked different because in my work, it's very dynamic. It's always changing. There's always a new issue, always a new conflict. No two wolf packs are the same. No two ranches the same. There's always something. So what I learned in order to keep that creativity and to survive as a nonprofit and personally, emotionally, was that you have to be really nimble. You cannot be static. You can't get stuck on a 2-year or 5-year plan. It's important to have that foundation to go to, but you have to be able to evolve to changing circumstances on the ground and do so quickly. And that alone not only allowed our nonprofit to keep evolving and growing as the needs change and to meet our mission, but also enabled for that creativity and that innovation and that excitement to keep going. And so that's kind of what's worked well for me, is just remembering that, yes, having that solid business foundation is important, and having that clear mission that you're trying to meet, and then working, finding creative ways to continue to meet that mission as things are changing on a daily basis.
That's wonderful. Good morning, everyone. I'm Radhika. Professionally, I have been working as an SAP consultant. I did fulfill the business requirements with solutions, wherein I have to focus more on how can I address the issue that business is having in order to improvise their business processes. All my thoughts were, how do I fix it? What would what kind of solution can I fit in that issue so that it is beneficial for the client? So that's been my journey for 15 plus years. Uh, and I was thinking, like, all I was doing is making changes or improvising the systems. Why not impact people's life? So with my experience, what resonated with me, with my knowledge and experience, is finances. How do we manage our finances in a better way? When it comes to leading, it is more of how do we frame a question. It is more of asking right questions and framing the problem correctly. In leading the people, like, it is more of a empowering the team and be open. That's what I'm learning. I mean, all I was doing is looking. I was doing, like, so addressing the issues with the products with a solution. Now, being in a different space, I'm knowing my own strengths, learning. Yeah, that is helping me. I mean, it's more of interacting with people. Everyone comes with different perspectives, empowering the team, thriving, encouraging them to thrive with their own ideas. As a team, we can be, like, stronger and make a bigger impact. That's my take on it. Yeah. Yeah.
For me, my relationship with creativity, I'm a very, very creative person, even though I'm an accountant. And yes, that can get an accountant in jail. So I keep the rules. But, my when I'm very creative, I'm that weird person that puts things that don't belong together, and make them work. And so my biggest switch over was don't go after the ooh shiny for that day. So mine was reining myself in. Um, but I do strategy coaching. I reorganize and fix broken companies. And so there's, 14, 18-hour days sometimes when we're trying to save a company. And it's for like 18 months straight. So it becomes a drain very fast. So our next one is talking about the hidden drains, right? So please tell us about one unseen energy drain in the business that you've seen that slowly killed the founder's ability to think clearly. I'll give you mine first, and then you guys go. What I find that I found with myself as well as others, even though I reorganize companies, by the way, you're not supposed to do it, and you still do it as a founder. It's just the way it works, right? It's live and learn. So I find that it happened to me at first. Fixed it very quickly when I realized it, but it happens to most founders. They kick it off, they start going, 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 and then somewhere along the line, the stability in the organization, boom, because there's a lot. You're moving fast, right? So you don't pay attention to that stability, and that ends up draining them very fast because now you're firefighting. So that's the thing that I found that affected everyone because now everything's urgent,
Right.
or they become the bottleneck because everything's urgent.
That's right.
Let's start again. Oh, go ahead.
Uh, all right. So can I do 2 points because I don't think I can summarize in 1 point. Okay. So yeah, as a founder journey, you have more to say. So the first I would say like a wake up call was when I was so passionate and the energy was great and I was just enjoying it in my business for the first few years. And yes, I did get clients and money was coming in. But then I had somebody who I was giving free coaching for 11 months. And that's when I said, and I had to go on a trip. And I said, how come I'm giving this person free coaching and she's traveling and having wine and sending me photos while I'm healing her cancer? Imagine this. Imagine this. And I am left counting for pennies and I'm giving her free coaching. And that's when I said, I am not doing any more free coaching. It ends at 11 months because that was way too long. Okay. Yeah. Way too long. There's nobody on this world who would have done that for her. And that was a wake up call. I said, what am I doing? This is a dysfunctional pattern in me. I should have just charged her from first month, you know. And the second call came when life happens. So I've had a life up and down, like I shared in my health conference and throughout the past 3 years. Even when I had cancer, one thing that absolutely was my best friend and helped me immensely was my own savings. Because at the time when I had bleeding for 3 years and then my cancer came, it was my tactical thinking of planning for the future for myself and my dogs because I was like, we are together, me and a dog. And I don't want anyone interfering and saying if I have to quit my job and life happens. So I had rock solid savings by God's grace, and that was saved me. Now fast forward to few years when I'd become an entrepreneur and become a more of a giver, then unexpectedly, my father passed away from the cardiac arrest in May 2023. And so I had to be there more at my parents' home, and we had rituals and stuff going on. So that took time away from my business. But worst tragedy happened 2 months later. For me, one of my most dearest dogs that I've ever owned, and I rescue dogs for the last 22 years. One of my most amazing, dearest dog, she passed away, and that was like, boom! My internal system was losing motivation at this point, you know. So I had to take up another job at where I was living to make sure that we have, money coming in, me and the dogs, and so that job took my time because I became an on-site manager at the property I was staying at. My business took an even more bigger hit, and soon I found myself drained. I was managing three a job, two of my own companies, and then dealing with my own emotional grief of losing my beloved dog. So I think life happens, and that it also comes to help you. If you look at it and change the narrative, it is to wake you up. Because then I realized, had I done the right steps in the past few years of my entrepreneurial journey, I won't have to take this job even if tragedy happened. I would still have rock solid savings like I had when I was working, and I used to save from every paycheck. And so I was like, never will I be in this situation. If some tragedy happens, be it. But I will have rock solid safe. And that made me even more stronger as a founder, as an entrepreneur, because I know I don't want to be in that space ever again. So now I am more open hearted to charge people in exchange of energy. I'm giving you something and you're giving me your money in exchange of price. It's a beautiful exchange.
So a lot of founders go through the holy crap, now I have to get a job if I don't make this work.
Yes, yes.
Right?
I'm in a ditch.
Yeah, a lot of people there are some that step back and say, okay, I'm going to go back to work and work on the business in the backside and then build it. And that is a very, very hard decision if you've ever had to set in that position. But it makes you motivated when you get back to it, right? Dr.
Absolutely.
Trina, how about you?
Absolutely. I think in owning a counseling center, I hear a lot of things and I hear a lot of different situations that people are in. And I think one of the things that I listen to and I've heard the most has been a relationship based situation. Whether you are married and you're going through pressures or strain within your marriage, or whether or not you're trying to decide, like, I'm growing and he's not growing, and now we have to part ways. That is a hard situation. But it's also a hard situation in relationship to your children, right? And if what they need, and are you capable of providing what they need, and are you present? And then the relationship of, what am I going to do? Like, I've abandoned myself as a person. So I need to have relationship with myself. And how am I going to do that? And then the last thing about relationships is that you may start at a certain position in the relationship with the people who you have employed, and your mission and vision have they've remained the same, but yet the people have not grown, or they decide that they don't want to do anything anymore to help you grow, right? And everybody has a maturation process.
See, at that point, the energy is draining.
It's
right?
draining,
Right,
it's
because
draining.
the whole company's energy changed.
The whole company's energy has changed. The whole structure has now changed, and now you have to revamp it and decide what you need to do, right? And what needs to happen within your company.
So I also am going to break the rules. I've never been one to follow them. I have 2 points. Sorry. So the first is that I think for me, one of the biggest energy drains early on, and I still have to fight this, is that the work I do is so dynamic and there's so many aspects to it, and our nonprofit's pretty niche focused. But as we started to gain more recognition, we had other NGOs or wildlife agencies or supporters saying, you need to get involved in this policy thing. You need to get involved in this advocacy thing. You need to get involved in this legal thing. And we don't do policy or legal or advocacy. And I felt like, I had to keep them all happy and kept trying to, get caught in the weeds, kept doing all these other things. But what it did is it took away from my ability and our staff's ability to focus on our mission.
That's right.
So I'm a very strong believer in having that clear mission, not the things you do and how you do it, but that clear why you're doing what you're doing, that ultimate goal, and that helps you stay focused and not get caught in those, going down the rabbit holes.
Right.
And that really helped me because it was getting caught in the weeds, so to speak, that was always draining and compromising the ability to do what we're supposed to do.
Right.
So that was the one thing I learned, and I again still struggle with that. But the other one is that this work that I do is different because most people in this arena, they're either pro wolf or pro ranching. It's us versus them,
Right.
one or the other. But I'm both. I love wolves and I love ranchers, and I believe that both can successfully be on the landscape. But what was happening is I was getting pro wolf advocacy groups saying, oh, you've sold your soul to the devil,
Right.
and then getting the ranchers, oh, you're too wolfy. And so being in this middle space was just hard to navigate, getting beat up and not having that community. However, I was able to kind of turn that into our superpower because by doing that, recognizing the value of both, I was able to bring those folks together. And instead of being an energy drain, it ended up becoming, like I said, the superpower to finding the solutions that worked. And that's kind of what led us to be able to do what we do. But still, every day, it's it's an ongoing something you have to remember and battle through.
That's great. For me, as a founder, the energy drain is not always a dramatic crisis. Uh, it is like the quiet leaks that we take hundreds of daily tiny decisions every day. Maybe don't even notice unless we put a number next to it. I mean, so the way I approach those decisions is like I put in a weightage. Like if I have 10 decisions to make, I put in a number, which one is priority and does it impact my organization positively in the direction of my mission and vision. I always, I mean, when I'm going out of the way or derailing from my vision, I always make sure come back to my why. Why am I doing this? So that anchors me to go in the direction of my vision and prioritize my energy to the respective choices I make on daily basis. That keeps me on track with the those unquiet leaks that we don't even notice. It does play an impact on us. We don't even understand, like over the period of it compounds over the period of time. It is daily activities that compounds over the period of time. That it is it is good to realize them early by doing the self check in. Am I doing it right? Am I focusing on my why that is driving me to go in this direction? So I'll make sure I'm revisiting my vision and vision every day, twice in the morning when I start my day, and also when I'm ending my day. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
The next one, we're going to pivot a little bit and talk about resets, right? So, how do you rebuild a space for thinking and innovation without slowing down, your momentum and growth? So, one of the things that I found is I will go, go, go until I drop. So, I have to consciously like stop in my space. So, I structure certain things that are very draining, like answering emails, doing approvals. Like with emails, I answer them 3 times a day, right? Um, but the biggest thing that I found was taking the break. So when I'm working remotely at home, I have a husky. She like comes and pops into my office and she's like, "Hello, mommy. Time to go outside, walk around in nature." So she brings me to the backyard a couple times a day, at least. Sometimes she's a nuisance and joins my calls, um, but she will make me stop. And when I'm at client sites and off and traveling, I have an alarm that I set so that it's a mid morning and an afternoon. Take a break, walk around, talk to the everybody around you. Just take a break for. It can be small. It can be 5 or 10 minutes. Just get away from the work, right? And that's what's reset me. How about your resets?
I love that you brought the point of your husky because I'm an like dog crazy person. Okay,
And
so
huskies are crazy.
yeah, but my crazy is like having 7 dogs right now. As I speak, they are with a wonderful pet sitter, so I was able to come here, but they are the love of my life. I don't have human children yet, but dogs are. I've been rescuing dogs for not 22 years now. So I was going to bring this point, whether it's my own cancer healing journey or as an entrepreneur. Dogs do My dogs have definitely helped me keep me healthy because they do have this ability to take me out of my mind, out of the overthinking loop, and it's going to go worse and self inflicted anxiety thoughts and things like that, and you're going out in the sunlight and walking barefoot. The other thing is, my beloved grandfather used to say, whenever there's a problem in your mind, sleep on it. So, what he meant was, it was so true as I've realized going through life, just detach from the problem. And that is when the solution shows up. So, thinking of the same problem, you're maximizing its impact in your mental capacity, and it's becoming big tiger in the room, okay, as so to speak. When you detach from it, you don't give it power. It loses its power and attachment to you. And you sleep on it means you just completely put it away, take a rest, take a break, go out with friends, have it with your dogs outside, whatever grounds you. Listen to some meditation music, have good food. Oh yeah, cooking is one of my recharging activity because I'm very passionate about cooking plant-based meals, and I have a YouTube channel, The Garden Recipe. So these things bring me back. And the other thing that I ask myself, what is it from my business activities that I enjoy doing? Bring me back to life. Like, okay, I still believe in this dream. It's going to happen. The why, like Simon Sinek says. And what are the things that are draining me? And I often find it's usually one person or some client or some email or some comment that I have to reply to or something like that that's draining me on this side. And what's lifting me up is usually working on my website and beautiful, making it like a nice article or publishing it. So I will focus on recharging my battery, doing the things once I've categorized in my mind what's draining me and what lifts me up. Okay, let's do the one that's lifting me up. We'll take care of the other one when we are recharged. Okay, that's the better approach instead of just pushing. So that's just my.
I have a sign on my wall that says, "What crazy idea will you actually make happen today?"
That is a wonderful idea.
Wow, I like that side. I'm gonna borrow that. Um, for me, I think one of the things that I do, one of the daily things that I do, and my team thinks that it's just absolutely crazy, is I like getting into the shower. I will take I mean, just any kind of, spearmint bath or, a lavender bath or whatever. I probably take 3 showers a day. I just love the feeling of water, hot water, on my body that kind of like resets me and it just rejuvenates me. And I just love vanilla and lavender. I love the scent of it. So I have it everywhere. So if you come, if I smell like that, that's probably why. But I just love those scents. And that's what it is that I do to kind of help me reset on a daily basis. On a more global basis, every 30 days, I reassess the people who I have around me. And I teach this a lot to a lot of the entrepreneurs that I now provide strategy sets to. You are only as good as the five people around you, right? And I just try to do it every 30 days. And then, me, the compassionate person in me, I kind of give a person or two, okay, I'm going to give you an extra 30 days, right? Because you weren't really, I didn't see a whole value, our
You weren't at
morals
your
and values
best.
aren't
You weren't at
lining
your
up.
best for the first 30
You know
days.
what I mean? Like maybe, them
Try.
yeah, the imposter showed up here for the first 30 days. Let me just see about the second 30 days. But we don't need to do waiting until the end of the year and we're going to figure out what we didn't do well for the whole year, right? I do quarterly updates with my entrepreneurs as well, and we try to figure out what your goals and your vision and your mission is, just to make sure that you're still doing your why, right? Because what happens is you get off basis, right? And you start in like going in a different direction. And I love the way that you say that you end up in the weeds. So it's sort of like, you're driving along the highway and next thing you know, you're all off on the shore over here. Like what happened? Like you don't see the road? Like just get back on the road.
That's the Ushinies.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But rather than doing that, quarterly after 3 months, let's just take a reevaluation every 30 days and just see where we are and just see who we have around us. And those will be the energy drainers, right? And those will be the people who we want to give our community service to and help. But at the end of the day, what are they adding? Are they adding value? Are they taking away value? Are they adding value to others?
And we've called them energy vampires.
Yeah. Well, I haven't called them anything yet, but I mean, I might borrow that. I might borrow that.
That's a good one. So I really, when I was looking at this question, it hit home to me because after doing this for about 16 years in this particular role, I've been struggling with that feeling. That's just why I enjoyed your talk so much yesterday.
Thank you.
Just how to reset and how to, get that feeling back that I had and that passion. And it really did. What one of the things was it came down to that passion. How do I get that back? Because obviously in a nonprofit the mission encompasses the cause, but it's the passion of the people that move that cause forward helps to advance it. And if with the day to day and the operational stresses, fundraising, managing the staff, the board commitments, all the things, sometimes that can, wear down on that passion. So for me, I've been trying to just step back and remember that feeling, and when I first started this, I spent a lot more time, instead of doing the operational stuff in the field, tracking wolves, spending time with the ranchers, riding the horses. And so I thought, you know what, need to get out there and remember what that feels like. And then just going back and looking at old grant reports early on and the excitement in my words of like, we did this, we did that, has been really helpful as well. And then in yesterday's session, a gentleman who's known as the Orange Man, I believe, he made a statement
Eric.
that really, Eric, okay, it really hit me. He got up and he said, "What are you without your title?" Or "Who are you without your title?" And I thought, wow, I'm not just, executive director and a founder. I'm a wolf advocate. I'm somebody who cares about the ranchers, somebody who cares about wildlife. That's who I am.
Yeah.
And it really sat with me. And I could feel that passion rising up through that. But on a daily basis, um, I break up my day. I am an early morning person, so I'm up at 5. But at noon, I go to the stables or ride my horse, spend 2, 3 hours, and then I come back and work late. And that's how I recharge every day.
That's great. For me, reset, like to break that chain of thoughts and chain of activities we are in on daily basis. Like um, I spend myself. I believe in meditation, breath, like inhaling and exhaling, that will diffuse all the thoughts which are not serving us. That is one way of reset for me, and also. I do believe in self care. It could be a good food, or taking care of yourself. We may not think of ourselves. Focusing on what we are doing, it is sometimes important that we take time for ourselves. That will definitely, in a way, like I intentionally want to do something, a different activity which I have not done, which will help me to unlock something new in me. So that will make me happy. That is the way I reset myself. Yeah. Thank you.
There's one more question about epiphany. One word. Where do you get your best creative ideas? Where they just show up?
Okay, sure. So I do travel for work. It is like sometimes between the exhaustion and reflections, a sudden idea it does strike. Since we are in new places and we interact with new people, that is how a new idea strikes in me, in different odd ways, actually. Yeah.
For me is when we're traveling for workshops with our team and we're just, on the road between locations. And what I find interesting about it is that there's no performance pressure and there's no like a meeting or retreat where people feel like they have to come up with ideas. We're just talking, we're conversing, we're sharing, and then ideas flow and creativity happens. And we've managed to come up with more ideas and solve more issues in a 2-hour road trip than in months of trying to figure out a problem.
That's because you're trapped in a car.
Yeah. Well, first I want to say that my daughter's name is Epiphany, and so that's my moment of clarity, exactly there. But I have my biggest moments of clarity, unfortunately, between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m. And that's when I wake up, right? So if the Lord is telling me to get up, I'm just gonna wake up. But now he's saying, no, I need you to get up. I'm like, okay, now, all right. First you were saying wake up, now you want me to get up. And that's my moment of clarity. Those are the hours that I do my best work, between 2 and 4 a.m.
That is so wonderful you said that, because I always get my most creative ideas when I'm most relaxed, and it usually comes as an answer in sleep. So go figure. I think that's probably because the mind is not overthinking; it shuts off, and the subconscious can take over and give you the deepest answers. The second would be when I'm writing things. I think there's the magic to writing, like the old school way, not writing on the internet, but like with pen and paper, and that is when you write what is on your thoughts, and then suddenly the answer will come somewhere in the middle of all that gibberish in your mind coming out. Oh, that's where it was. So I think writing and kind of like calming the mind and during sleep time. Yeah.
So I am also a 2 to 4, but I'm still awake. I sleep in shifts because I don't sleep very long. Yeah. I get more sleep when I sleep in shifts. Um, it's when the house is quiet, but it's also when I'm in the shower. I don't know. You're running through your day.
See, that was
Yeah.
in the shower.
You
I
should identify with that, right?
People have it that way.
It's like you're running through your day. What's going on? What do I have to do that day? And you're like, oh, I could do it this way.
And I think water has the most
It's a
healing.
healing effect.
Yeah, and it washes off the previous energy that we have of worry, negativity, or what people inflict on us. And I think many of my answers have come in the shower too. And a lot of people I've heard over my journey, that is during when they're taking a shower or taking a salt bath. It takes away all of the negative energy, and that is probably because of that. And yeah, I do have it in the shower too. Yeah.
But animals help too, though,
Yes,
because
big time.
they're always happy to see you. I mean, unless you have a cat, and sometimes they just want they just want you to be away, out of their way. But
I've just learned to always keep a pad of paper and a pen with me at all times because I never know when
Never
that I
know.
don't. And then I think I'm going to remember, and then I don't. So bedside always.
well, thank you so much, everybody, for the panel, and we happy that you guys showed up on the third day. So kudos to you guys. Appreciate everybody. Thank you so much, lovely ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you.